Hey class, welcome to my presentation. My name is Jonas, and today I'll be talking about an original business idea that capitalizes on a few phenomena that have been discussed in class. So this business is called Shareat, and it's a mobile payment platform that focuses on improving the casual dining payment and rewards experience. Throughout the presentation, I'll be doing a brief overview of the problems that my partner and Ethan and I saw, and the solution we came up with in order to solve these problems. And then we're going to look into past research experience relevant to the phenomena that I'll be discussing, as well as some of the research that supports the viability of this new venture. During sophomore year, Ethan and I always went out to eat because we got so tired of the dining hall food on campus. But every time we went out to eat, we'd run into the same exact problems where the payment process would be way too slow, with restaurants that have been depending on cash or card, as well as waiters that walk back and forth at least 2 to 3 times. And at the same time, if we were eating in groups, it would become such a hassle because by the end of the meal, we'd have to figure out who's going to foot the bill first, who's going to Venmo request who, and also how much exactly is everyone Venmoing each other for what dish they ate. And finally, if restaurants did offer rewards, they'd bring little to no value to us because at the end of the day, they're either confined to individualized apps that are hard to track just because there's so many of them, and stamp cards that are too easy to lose. Our solution is Shareat, and what it is a mobile payment platform that lets users pay for the bill through their phones by scanning the QR code located at the edge of the table, split the check really efficiently, and save rewards directly on one centralized platform. As smartphones and tablets are becoming more and more advanced, they're replacing laptops and desktop computers in our everyday lives. And they've proven to be a disruptive technology where all this computing power is packed into one tiny device. But smartphones have also gone as far as to influence what and how we do things throughout the day. For example, we spend hours on social media on apps such as Instagram, Snapchat, or we rely on Uber when it comes to hailing a ride, and Apple Pay or Venmo when it comes to paying at the counter or just paying your friends. But one industry that smartphones and mobile technology has not been able to tackle is the mobile payment industry. And we have Venmo in the peer-to-peer market, Apple and Samsung Pay in the at-the-counter payment, um, but no prominent companies in the post-service payment where, if you think about it, casual dining restaurants where you eat and then the bill comes, people aren't actually able to use their phones to pay the bill then. And even though mobile payment technology has gone through constant incremental innovation, where technologies exist to operate digital payment, um, it hasn't advanced far enough to tackle this specific part of the market. Moving on to the market and some research that supports the viability and potential of this new venture. According to Statista, in 2019, the in-person mobile payment market is projected to grow 33% to a $34 billion market. And on top of that, people have become increasingly dependent on mobile platforms when it comes to deciding whether or not to go out and eat. So this could be discount apps, check-in offer apps, or rewards apps. And in 2019, the number of visitors coming in from mobile platforms increased 50%. This data shows us that the mobile payment market is growing extremely rapidly, and at the same time, people are becoming increasingly dependent on mobile platforms um, when it comes to something that we wouldn't expect to be influenced by technology, which is the simple decision of going out and deciding where or whether or not to go out and eat. Over a period of 5 to 6 weeks, my partner and I went through extensive customer discovery to see if our product actually fit the market and was solving needs of the consumer. So we had to take the curse of knowledge into consideration, where because we've been so fascinated by our new venture and have done so much research, we have to be careful not to skip any background information pertaining to the payment process and how rewards worked when we were talking to either restaurants, potential customers, or POS providers, which are point of sale providers that provide the restaurant tablets. So, in order to work our way around this, we took our time to make sure we didn't miss any details when interviewing restaurants and people and others. And so what we found was really interesting. When people go out to eat, they actually take into account the process of waiting to get a table, waiting for food to get to the table, and the entire eating process. But when it comes to payment process, Most people think it's really quick, but in reality, there's some trials and tests that we found. Uh, we saw that the payment process actually varies heavily, mostly depending on the party size and how busy the restaurant is. And on average, it takes 3 to 4 minutes to complete the process, but when it's a little on the busier side, it can take anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes. This process describes the sunk cost fallacy, which is a cost that has been paid and cannot be recovered. So, when in reality, the payment process could be so much more efficient through the use of digital technology to streamline the process. People are taking anywhere between 3, 4, 5 to even 20 minutes to complete the last part of the eating out process. And Shareat would be able to do this by bringing this under 30 seconds, where you can just, when you're ready to pay through your phone, get up and go when you're ready. On the other hand, the sunk cost trap applies to rewards as well. So, for example, if I go to a small coffee shop where one of the rewards they offer me is a free coffee for every 10 coffees I purchase, I'd expect to be able to redeem these rewards and get the value out of them. But instead, what happens is that restaurants either confine rewards into stamp cards that are really easy to lose. And in my case, I always get halfway or so close to the redemption point, but I end up either forgetting to bring the card or just flat out losing it all the time. And so the sunk cost trap refers to a tendency for people to irrationally follow on an activity that is not meeting their expectations. And this is because of time or money that they've already invested. And so when I do lose a card, I continue visiting the coffee shop because I like the coffee. And even though I lose the card, I just keep on going to the coffee shop in hopes that I'll finally redeem that one coffee. But in the end, I usually just lose it again. Thank you very much, and I'm now open to any questions.